All right, for this week, I'm going to go into a little more detail explaining the assignment. I found last semester that students were a little bit confused on how to create the spreadsheet in Excel and exactly what things to include in their spreadsheet. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a demonstration. You'll finish out or you can use the information that I give you here in the spreadsheet, but you'll need to create your own spreadsheet and fill it in with the rest of the users and uses. So on pages 91 through 93 of your textbook, you will find the users and the uses of healthcare data. And as you read through these chapters, you will see that there are a lot of different users that use healthcare data in different ways. And this assignment kind of shows you how some of that overlap occurs. So what I have here is our open spreadsheet, and down the first column, column A, starting in row 2, I'm going to put in my first user of healthcare data, and that's patients. And you would continue to list the users down through column A. Then in row 1, you will start to list the uses of healthcare data. So these examples should come from your text, and you'll find there should be at least 2 in each of the users. So for patients use healthcare data to monitor care. They also use healthcare data to make sure that their billing that they receive from the doctor or from the hospital or the radiology department, that information is correct before they pay the bill. That's 2 uses for patients. And just put an X in those boxes. Then you'll come down to your third row in column A and put in the next user, which are health care practitioners. These are your doctors, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, physical therapists, anyone who is in a treating environment. And you're going to go over to column D, row 1, and you're going to add 2 of the uses for healthcare practitioners. So 1 is to communicate or document care. And you'll put an X in column D3 or in cell D3, referring to the row with healthcare practitioners. Another use that we have for healthcare practitioners is to develop care plans. These are usually done by nurses in a long-term care facility, in a rehabilitation facility, sometimes in an acute care setting where the patient's in the hospital for several days to weeks to months, and they will develop care plans. Now, if we go back here, do healthcare practitioners use healthcare data for billing? Yes, they do. They have to be able to provide proof that the charges that they are sending to the patient, that those are necessary. And the way to do that is to document that that care in a way that it's coded into your ICD-10 codes and CPT codes and all of those fun codes that you'll learn about into the bill. They also use healthcare data to monitor care. So you see that there's some overlap right here with patients and healthcare practitioners in using some of this data. You'll continue on with the remaining healthcare users, or health data users down this column, and then across this top row with those uses. Now you'll find as you go backwards, after you've added the two uses for healthcare data, go backwards and look and determine whether that particular user would use data to, say, develop a care plan or document care, for billing or monitoring care. Not all of these users are going to use data in the same way. The next step, or the next part to your assignment, is to create, or is to pull 8 users from your list up here and write a sentence giving an example of a use of healthcare data that is not in your textbook. If it's in your textbook, you will not get credit. And I've taught this course enough that I will know. So, for example, let's say for a patient, you could say patients use healthcare data to we have monitor care, we already have billing and payment, but we can use healthcare data to get a life insurance plan. For those of you that have ever purchased life insurance before, you will know that, or note that you do have to provide, in most cases, some type of medical documentation that you're healthy, either through a physical exam or providing documentation through your physician or the hospital. That's one use that's not shown in the textbook. And then you would choose 7 more users and do the same thing, writing in a sentence. Now you can write your sentences right on the Excel spreadsheet. You don't need to create a new one. You can put those sentences in your submission block on the assignments prompt, whatever you choose. Do not, however, put them in the comment section. It makes it very difficult to read when you post assignments in the comments section because there's no formatting. So I do take points off for that, so make sure that you're not setting yourself up to have points deducted. This is the only assignment that you have this week, so take your time on it. Make sure that for your 8 users of healthcare that you're creating these sentences for, make sure that those uses are not in your textbook. It is a little challenging. If you do need to do some research, get on Google and Google, how do patients use healthcare data? How do researchers use healthcare data? And I promise you will find some uses that are not in the textbook. You also have a discussion this week related to data and how important it is to make sure that it's correct when it's entered into the medical record, when you're coding, if you do transcription. It's critical that that data goes in correctly because everything that follows is based on that data. You've heard the phrase junk in, junk out, or garbage in, garbage out. It applies to healthcare data just like it applies to junk food. So make sure that that you're answering that discussion question and then responding to 2 of your classmates. I hope this has been helpful. Please, if you have any questions, please post them in the discussions board for questions and answers. That way, if any of your fellow students also have that same question, they may see that it's there and that it gets answered. And have a great week.